I've got to say it, I'm bored of seeing process video, consultation video, the same bullshit that every barber is posting nowadays. So welcome to episode 1, where I dissect all of my barber's followers' content and their Instagram profile, so it allows them to actually gain more clients through their content, create better content, as well as actually growing their business. I'm going to show you exactly how to optimize your profile properly, how to make better videos, and exactly how to do personal branding properly as a barber. Because in this day and age, personal branding as a barber is an essential if you want to actually grow your business. The days of just relying on word of mouth and not posting on content, you're going to be left behind. And especially in 2026, if you don't know how to create good performing content as a barber, you are genuinely fucked. So with that being said, let's dive into intro content. This whole thing is extremely raw. I don't know what content I'm going to be watching. You're going to be seeing my initial reaction and exactly how you're going to grow your business, as well as creating better content. So with that being said, let's dive into some Instagram content. I put up a poll, and if you guys want to get your Instagram content reviewed, make sure to reply to the poll or click the link down below and put in your Instagram profile. All I want is your email, and you'll hear some emails from me. But if you don't want to do that, don't click the link. But with that being said, let's jump into the video and start reviewing some content. Okay, first up, we have Dylan. And Dylan, mate, straight out the bat, you are simply not posting enough content. You see, 15 posts really doesn't give me much to base off, but we'll do our best job. And again, profile picture, we're not really adding anything. Looking at that profile picture, all it is dead space. Without actually looking at it right now, I wouldn't really know what it is. I would suggest changing that to something like this and putting that on there, as it just explains a little bit more about what you do. Now, going into your profile optimization, your bio setup really doesn't add anything to your profile. It has no ICP call out. It doesn't understand a pain point and break it down, and it's not really funneling people to your booking link. Right now, it's just hairstylist, where you work, and then a direct call out to booking link. Instead, I would structure that in a better way so that it actually funnels people going to this booking link. You know, you have to understand that the first 3 seconds when people land on your profile, they're making the decision whether they're going to stay or fuck off. Very, very simply. So let's have a little look at the content here. Again, 15 posts are not showing that much. Fine, carousels, great. But I think here 2 posts. What I would do here instead with a carousel, not really adding much. Let's see this carousel here. Again, these carousels, we're not really adding anything. What I think would be a great opportunity with a carousel, and I think it's working really well to get clients now, and students doing the same, is with these carousels, break down a process and understanding the pain points, and break down exactly how you did the haircut, starting from point A from point B. You could even split the screen by having like the before and after, and then go through like, this is how we did this haircut for this said client. Now let's look at this reel here. I'm bored. Quite frankly, you know, we're not really adding anything. We're just taking a cape off and showing an after video. We're not showing any process. We're not showing our technique. We're not really showing anything at all. The visual hook isn't there. Now again, okay, fine. We're showing the before and after, but how do we get from this to this? You know, there's such a lot of hair coming off here. That would have been a great video or carousel to show each stage, to actually showing the client exactly what we need to do.
What's up, people? I'm Brad Hayward, owner of Hero Gap Barber Studio, and for 3 months now, we've been bringing precision barbering into Bognor Regis. So come take a look inside.
I mean, where the fuck should I really even start?
Yeah, nice. I absolutely love the hook and the start of the video because it explains exactly what you're bringing to what area. So you're covering a pain point and location. But then within the video, you're not carrying anything on. I think what you could do then, you're just going in and showing the actual audio behind the sound. What I would do then is actually talk about the pain points and explaining what you're trying to build in said area. So now this allows your clients or viewers watching this to actually be a part of the business and grow as a brand. You know, they don't gain that much. You've got to think about clients. They don't understand the technique and the haircuts. As soon as you add a voiceover to it and explain exactly what you're building, your clients get an instant understanding of exactly what it is you're trying to build. All right, not gonna lie, that's just an after video. These work okay, but it just gives me the sign of, right, this is your thought process to your marketing. Okay, I finished the haircut. I need to get a video out there. You know, there's no thought process behind it. A client isn't really going to gain that much from it. Nice. Lovely haircut. Love the color. I think here, you could even use that as an opening shot, add text to it and be like, this is how you do the cut, or the best haircut going into 2026. Now talk about the process and exactly what we're doing. And now this targets more clients. Coming through here, let's see this one.
Yeah.
I'm bored. The visual hook's not that great.
And sort of neaten up all around these backs. Take a bit of weight out there.
Okay, what I would do here when you're talking, add captions on screen, as 80% of people watch videos on mute. So it's super crucial we have captions to actually break it down. So with that being said, let's look at any more. What's going on? What's this pin post?
This morning, we're out here. We booked up to do the charity seed it
Fine.
a month ago, and now we're actually here. We're doing it. Dylan's not too happy, but we're gonna get it done.
Yeah, nice. I like that. You're bringing in your humor into it. I think what could be done is it's just a little bit slower of a video. I think you need to chop it up, and the way you're thinking about it is you're like slowing down the process. I would cut down the gap so it's just constant speaking. But other than that, it's essentially your biggest problem right now, Dylan, mate, is you're just not posting enough content. I would go away from here and I'll start making yourself a challenge that you're going to post 5 pieces of content, but make sure each piece of content is actually growing the business. Think about what pain points you're targeting with the clients, and actually understand that, you know. And one, I'd optimize your profile correctly. I would change this to something like a direct call out. I would change it to like helping the men of Bognor Regis to understand premium cutting and a high elevated skill haircut, or something along the lines like that. Targeting a pain point, your location, making sure we're adding a bit of social proof, how long you've been cutting hair, and then change this to, if you want to get booked in, click the link down below. We're funneling people across. So with that being said, let's move on to the next profile. We're now moving on to Harry. I know Harry quite well, so hopefully this can help him with his content. But Harry, mate, 198 posts. Good. We got some stuff on the feed. Now, let's break this down. I like your personal picture, your display picture. I think that's pretty clean. Hair systems specialist / educator. I help barbers earn more money and get time back. I think that could be good. I think the way you could benefit that, though, is I help barbers earn more money and time back in what time frame? Give them a time frame on how long it is. It adds urgency. And then through here, let's click some links, see what these links are like. Become a G System Pro, G System online consultation. Nice, perfect. Now, let's go through and look at some of your content, your best performing 40K. What have we got here? Nice, very trend-like video. Perfect. Okay, now let's look at some other videos here, some outliers. We can see you're getting your personality across, but I want to look at some where we're actually creating something here. Nice, mate. One thing I would say is it's a little bit slow and boring. What I would say, these haircuts here, hair systems, you have so much opportunity to target pain points, and these are very in at the moment. So what I would say here is start adding a voiceover and using a hook to get me in straight away. You know, like right now, I'm looking at this. I think you could talk about the process and what you're doing here, discovering the shape, how it suits the client's face shape, and the confidence it builds. You know, there's so much pain to gain more clients through this that if you start talking about that, there's going to be a lot more connection going into it. What about this one here? Love this, but visual hook, there's nothing there. Too long. We're slowing this whole thing down. You know, as a viewer, I'm bored already. Instead, I would go straight into this rather than having the G System start. I'll slow the whole thing, or speed the whole thing up, sorry, so that you get straight into this video very, very quickly. Nice. Now let's have a little look here. Again, at these ones. That one's a marriage. There we go here. All right, what I would do at the start of this video, Harry, mate, is I would remove the section of you walking in and almost like hesitating combing the hair back. I would go straight into combing the hair, add like a keyframe zoom, because straight away you're building that visual hook, you know? That's what's going to grab people's attention right now within the first 5 seconds, which is the most crucial element to see if people actually watch and connect. You need to make it as visually engaging as possible. So right now you have this right here. I would comb the hair back as a first sort of thing, so they can see the hair at the start, comb the hair back, and that straight away creates a massive visual hook going into the video. Rather than you just walking in, like if we look at this again now, we're looking at this, not a lot going on, bang, start the video from here, pull the hair back, zoom it in, straight away you've got a much stronger visual hook, and instantly I'm more engaged, increasing the views, increasing the client conversion rate. So with that being said, let's go and have a little look at this. I love that cover photo. Now going through here. Okay, cool. One thing I will say that you're not doing enough of, Harry, mate, for sure, is through your content. Let me see any new stuff if we're changing the way it goes.
It's like an accessory rather than a...
There we go, cool.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
like a necklace.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Take it on and off like you say, yeah.
Put it on when you go out.
That's it. You can do, can't you?
Yeah, we can, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
All right, great. I know you're capturing like an honest conversation here, but what I would say of that one is zoom in, change angles. It's very much one-dimensional. So, and use the hook that, whatever it is, where it says it's almost like a necklace, and then cut, and now you can go in and talk about exactly what it is. You're trying to help people with G systems and help scale their businesses. show exactly what it can do and how you can help them. You know, right there and then, I'm not getting much from that video, so talk about it a little bit more and break down. Like, as someone who doesn't know much about G systems, you could go in here and be like, explain why it's like a necklace, go into the pain points, the benefits, and exactly like that. You got to think about people watching this video, especially if you're trying to help them earn more money and get time back. I'm assuming with the hair systems and stuff like that, speak about that more within your content, but also make it as organic as possible. Nice. Again, here, what I would say, the visual hook is okay, but it could be a bit better. I would show more of the process though. Like, we're going straight from putting a system on to then seeing the end result. So I would suggest changing that. And one of the biggest things is get your personality across. Like, you can see in these videos here, you can see your personality talking about it and that you have humor. So now allow that to come out through this piece of content and people connect with it way more. Again, here, you can add a lot more sort of context to the videos going on. You can be like, hey, if you think you can't have a slick back with a hair system or medium length hair, start talking about that, because then that's going to attract clients and people are going to think these things. There you go. So Harry, what I would suggest of you moving forward now is I would actually start incorporating you into the videos a little bit more and talk a little bit more, especially about you trying to help people sell more through hair systems and build a business. Show more of that because they connect with your voice, and especially with the change of content nowadays. People connect more with the voices, especially with voiceovers and stuff like that. And people often forget the most important element, especially barbers and personal branding, is the personal element. Everyone nowadays is just showing process videos and not showing any personality. And then we go from all these serious videos, but then you see this sort of stuff. We just need to make it a little bit more aligned. But hope that sort of helps. So my biggest takeaway from you is start incorporating more voiceovers and actually targeting a few more pain points. And in your videos, show more exactly how barbers can actually do this, as this is what you're trying to push. Coming in next, we have Will Ferris Hair. Me and him, fun fact, actually went on our first Menspire course together about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. We were on the same course. So it's nice to see that he's still doing so well. Cool. Now, straight off the bat, love the profile picture. Super clean. Perfect. Cornwall, St. Anne still owner of Barberprenuership, out of hours haircuts available. Bio could be better. Again, we're not targeting any pain point. We're not targeting our ICP. So I think we could change here. Add this as one line as our location. On top here, we could be like elevating the standards in Cornwall for the everyday man. Bang, straight off the bat, you're targeting the ICP and you're fixing a pain point. You know what it is. Out of hours haircuts available. Yeah, fine. But now we need to make sure that we're actually directing people to this booking link right here. So that's what I would change to your profile. 319 posts, good number of posts. Let's have a little look through and see if we have any outliers and good performers. So going straight off the bat, we're currently sitting around 2.5K views. Now, let's just click on one here.
They be dropping shit, but we be dropping harder shit.
Be honest, that one, the visual hook was too long. You should have changed to this clip here. Again, one thing I would say coming straight off the bat, within the visual hook, just going to pause the video there. We're not actually showing it quick enough. You're almost hesitating when you're doing the clips. What I like to say is like trim the fat. So what you can do is when you're putting in the ball guideline or you're removing the 2, look at within the first 5 seconds. I call it the 8 and 5 rule. Within the first 5 seconds, you need 8 clips. So I would now remove the fat where you're almost hesitating to put the bald line in. And then once you do that, trim it up. But now you've got to think about, you've gone straight from a bald line to a full fade, but we're not showing enough process. So we want to show the whole process to what the clients can expect. Right now, we're just showing the start, the end, and then the finished result. We're not bringing enough context going into it. This one's got 4.5K views. Nice. One thing I would say, the angle really isn't that great. It's too zoomed in and you're cutting most of your client's face out. So I would actually zoom this angle out, make him more central, and do more haircut, do more content like this, as this obviously did perform quite well. Now let's see if there's any more outliers. 3.2K.
Baby girl, let me see you do your dance, let me see you twirl. Shake an ass in the club with your homegirls. Take a pic for the gram, show the whole world.
Nice. Again, this is good. Again, I would shorten the clips a little bit just because it feels a little bit slow and dragged out. One thing I would say is change your camera angle and actually put the camera slightly higher and point it down as your hand blocks the view. Something like when you see it, 2 seconds. Like there, you see your hand is the main focal point. If we were to bring the phone up and point it down, the focal point would be on the haircut. One thing I would also suggest with this, if we're just doing a fading reel, put text on the screen with numbers, as this will keep engagement up and keep people watching the video. Now let's see if at 22K. Nice. Like that video. One thing I would say though is it doesn't really add any benefit to getting clients. We're just optimizing for view. Here's we're putting in a bold guideline. That's one thing that's crucial to remember when we're creating content, guys, is to understand we need to think of this in the eyes of the consumer. That's great. We've got 22K views, but remember that that is almost like a content bucket in itself. So if you want to gain more views and get eyeballs on a page, start posting that. But what you won't get is that many clients because we're not actually fixing any pain point. We're not targeting anyone. 7.3K here.
In 3, 2,
so again, we're seeing a common reoccurrence, the bold guideline. You see, these videos are great. They're just good for views. So I would say if you're looking to grow your page, start posting these twice a week and your page will grow, but the actual connection with clients won't be that high. Coming back up here, let's look at some more recent ones, what's been going on here. Nice, clean, very, very nice beard trim. Cool, but again, not really adding anything. What's going on here? Nice. So one thing I will say, Will, mate, again, a lot of barbers aren't doing this, and this is the switch that people need to make, is right now we're not showing anything of you. What is the man behind Volt? You know, that's what people need to understand. If you want to get clients to actually connect with you, look at Sam Rascal, for example. The reason he has done so well is because he allows you to see into his life and become that figure of interest, you know? He's the main focal point between all of his content, and that's why you look at him as an authority, and that's why his brand has got such a cult-like following. Right now, all we're looking at is haircuts. Great, you're very good at cutting hair, but what is building the Volt male image, you know? Think about that. It's the same way that you build relationships with clients. We just need to do this online. You wouldn't just go to a client and show them exactly how we're going to do the perfect haircut. You know, you would go through and you build a relationship up with them and make them understand exactly who you are, what you believe in, and where the business is going. The content still needs to do that. And this is the biggest shift that barbers need to make going forward in 2026 if they want to continue building a brand of cult-like following and actually grow their business. So that's what I would change to you. One thing I would do is really optimize this profile and really start to incorporate voiceovers, consultation videos, and start putting the face behind the brand and start building a connection with your clients. Start thinking about pain points, and that's how you're going to start connecting clients and converting clients from your views. Next up, we have Joe Hooper. Straight out of the gate, 50 client weeks at 18. Well done, mate. Absolutely smashing it. Profile picture could definitely be improved. We're not really adding anything here. What I like to look at is having like a clean face shot, making sure showing you in your salon and stuff like that. I help young barbers grow their clientele and build their skill set. DM me the word grow for early access for my growth blueprint. Lovely. The question is now, are you trying to sell a course, or are you trying to get clients into your chair? Because if we're looking at your content, we're not really showing how to sell a course. We're trying to show people how to create content. So let's make sure that our bio is aligned. I like this, but just depending on what we want to do. If you want to sell a course, great. We're calling out an ICP. But if you want to gain clients, I would now reword this to target clients. Let's go through and look at some content. Love this, the fact that it's going through. One thing I will say, cover photos like that really do not do much of anything. So going through here, let's look at this carousel. Nice, clean. Again, we're just showing an after video going into this reel here. Nice, very nice. Built for, very good at cutting hair, mate, at 15, I've got to say. Cool, mid-skin fade. One thing I would say with that video there, the visual hook was too long. You said mid-skin fade, I'd keep that for 3 seconds or 2 seconds, then go straight into the clip. Now going into here, one thing I would say with this, again, put numbers on screen, explain what the steps are. Too long clips. I would also change the camera angle here. We're not really seeing too much. I would now switch the camera to more of a side-on view, as this allows it to be more visually engaging. Again, through here, let's see what this one's like. Too long. Too long. You need to cut that down and show the visual hook right there, and then 3 seconds swiped off, I'm bored. Now, what I want to go into is your introduction barber basics.
If you're a young barber and you don't know where to start on your journey, then this video is for you. Hi, my name is Joe. I'm 17 years old and I've been barbering for around 3 years now. When I first started barbering, I felt lost and...
Nice. One thing I absolutely love, mate, is the fact that you're getting yourself through your marketing and building a name through yourself. So if you keep doing this, you're going to build an audience of people who actually really resonate with you. One thing I would say is your cover photos here, I would change these to a picture of you cutting and make it a little bit more engaging because it really doesn't look that visually appealing. So now let's go through and have a little look at episode 4.
Can I call
Yes, people, welcome back to
Nice.
episode 4
Nice
of the
visual
Barber
hook.
Basics series. Today's episode is going to be on graduation. Carrying on with the
One thing I would say here, if you're saying today's episode's on graduation, now apply some B-roll of you doing some graduation to back up exactly what you're saying.
scissor work series. Graduation in general is such a huge part of cutting hair, like I said in the last episode. So there's going to be a few episodes to cover it, like graduation for a taper, which we're doing today, graduation for skin fades, backwards graduation on slick back haircut.
One thing I would say here is get straight to the point. You know, you're logging out the process and explaining what everything graduation is for each type of haircut. When you say graduation for a taper, bang, picture. Graduation for a slick back haircut, bang, picture. Right now, everything is filmed just in one dimension of you talking to the camera, and people watching this will be a little bit bored. So just add a bit of B-roll to actually making what you're talking about have a bit more substance.
Like I've got on my hair. Just there's a whole deep dive that we could go into in graduation, but today just focusing on the taper. That's pretty much all there is for me to say on this episode. So let's get straight into the cutting. Okay, people. So
nice. One thing I would say here is you could go straight into, hey, today's episode is about graduation, and we're going to talk about exactly how to perform graduation on a taper. This is a very cemented technique that you need to understand as a barber. Bang, go into, okay, people's first thing. You don't need all of the prolonged story. You've got to imagine you want this video to be about 65, 70 seconds long max, because the chance of people getting to this point and watching it is super, super slim. But so far, I think your bio is structured the best, and you're absolutely smashing it at 18, mate. You're going to keep killing it, keep doing the hard work, and keep doing stuff like this, but just make it a little bit quicker. Change how you're talking, get straight into the point. Let's just look at one more reel, this one here. Nice. One thing I would change is I would remove the before picture. There's no need for it. That clip there, what you should do is once you twist the hair up, remove the fat of you selecting the clip here, just put it straight in and remove that section there, just to make the whole video feel a little bit quicker and better. Nice, mate. Love the videos. The fact that you're getting yourself into wider videos. Well done, mate. Keep up the good work. But one thing I would suggest is make sure that this is aligned with what you're trying to do. Are you trying to get clients, or are you trying to sell a course? And last but not least, we have Ben. Ben, nice profile picture. Absolutely love it. Straight out the bat though, I would say we need to optimize our profile a little bit more. 23 years old. Do I really care? Yes, no, not really. Self-employed barber. Again, no, not really. Location, perfect. What I would say here, again, call out your ICP. Call out exactly your target market. You could say something like helping elevate the standards of Irish hair for the basic man, something like that, you know. Again, this is all tested for your ICP and exactly who you want to target. Self-employed barber, I would remove. Rather there, I would put your social proof, how long you've been doing barbering for. Location, book now, using it below. Great, perfect. Now, coming through here, your feed looks lovely. Lovely, lovely feed. Looks very clean and aesthetic. Now, let's dive into some of the content. I can see you're loving this black and white-esque theme. Now, coming into the content, let's go down and see if there is any outliers right here. 3,794. Nice, mate. Love that. One thing I would say is the angle choices are very similar. I would just switch them up, but especially here, one thing, note, lose the water tag or cap cut. The one thing we're looking here, if we're looking at this showcasing shot right now, what is the first thing I'm going to look at as a client? All of this dead space right here. You're filming too far away from the client when this is the focal point that you need to be focusing on. So instead, it looks like you filmed this on 0.5. I would zoom this in and have the head sitting around here, right in the center frame, so that the first line of focus when I'm looking at is this here, not all this dead space. This is pointless. No one cares about that. We care about this because that is an absolute banger of a trim. Now let's go down, see if there's any more. 2,900. Right there, if we're doing talking and this is education, why are we not adding captions? I can barely hear what you're saying. Again, now I would actually change the angle. You're the focal point, but what you want to do if you want to sell education, you should actually think about focusing on you and the client and what you're teaching, because right now I'm just looking at you. I can't hear what you're saying. I'm staring at you in the mirror. But what you need to understand is you need to get the point across that you're actually helping a student and elevating them. So what I would do is switch the camera around and get a video of you wearing a mic, caption it up and hear what the student is saying and explain that. Again, equally, this is education, but I can't hear you speaking. That's one thing I would say. Or what you can do is get a microphone and actually just voice over the whole thing. You know, we want to get education. We're trying to push education. Show us teaching people. Right now, everything's filmed in one spot. So I would get that changed now. Let's see if there's any more. 3,800. Nice. I love the fact that you get yourself in the video, but don't have this too much. Right now, you're the focal point. We now need to incorporate ourselves in the videos, don't get me wrong, but now we need to also show what we're focusing on and what we're trying to get clients to do, and that is book in with us. Nice. One thing I would say is you're just keeping your phone in one location. That's fine. What you do need to do though is change up the zoom angle. So what we can do here again with the dead space is I'm focusing on all of this when this is what I should be focusing on. You could do now where you're cutting and you're looking at your mirror, you can now have a close-up view so it almost looks like they can see exactly what you're seeing in the mirror. Again, look at the action. I can't see any of the action that you're doing. I'm just seeing you and doing clip over comb. I want to see exactly what you're doing. You could put the camera right here and capture a nice shot of you doing that. Nice. One thing I would say is I'm pretty bored right now. Like everything in this video is just one thing, you lining up. Shorten the whole thing and just get straight to the point of showing this. Shorten every clip, show a few more angles, and that would be an absolute banger. You're very, very good at cutting hair, Ben, mate. Now, going through here, favorite haircuts lately. Nice. I really like this. One thing I think you could add potentially is just calling them, like naming the haircuts exactly what it is you're doing. Like show people what it is, like what haircut it could be. Then it allows clients to actually understand exactly what haircut they want, so they can go through and use you as reference or actually book in with you. Now let's go through and look at any newer sort of stuff. Right, super clean. Nice. One thing I would say is, I know exactly what you're doing here. You want to show as many clips as possible of your nice haircuts because they're an absolute banger. But I would flick through them a bit quicker because sometimes when they're watching this, I know what you're thinking and your thought process behind it is showing everything, but I would just shorten the clips a little bit more. And you really need to focus on your showcasing shots. Like right here, why is your client right here? It's almost like you're trying to take a video of the background and he's just in it, you know? So that's something definitely to be cautious about and make some changes. Let's have a look at one more. Nice, mate. One thing I would say, which is probably your biggest downfall right now, is your camera angles. Like you're doing everything from behind in a really wide view when instead you need to start capturing closer shots, incorporating you, because you have everything you need. You understand the visual elements of branding and your feed looks clean, but I just think you need to learn how to capture your content a little bit better. I think that would help you out a lot more and just understand the flow of all. Because right now it's like, I know your thought process, I used to do the same thing, is you want to capture everything and you show too much of the same thing. But a big takeaway for everyone that I reviewed today, when you're going to create content, think of it in the eyes of the consumer. And if you get bored at any point, you don't understand what it is you're actually doing. For example, that education video, we want to attract people to get more education from you, but we're not showing anything from that. We're just showing like an outside view of you working, but we're not adding any captions, we're not targeting any pain points, we're not actually building any connection. So that's one thing I would take away from that, mate. But yeah, definitely what I would say is change your bio and start working on your angles and shortening down the clips. Don't feel like you need to incorporate as much as you do. And mate, you have a lot of potential to grow. All right, guys, I hope that helps and I hope you got something from it. But the key takeaways to remember is the fact that the first 5 seconds of your video is the most crucial element. If you are not using the 5 and 8 rule, I highly suggest that you start using it. This is what me and my students use when we're creating our content, and it brings in million views because you need to understand that the visual hook is the most important aspect to actually get people watching the video. But another key takeaway that I think most barbers who want to succeed in 2026 and going forward is you need to incorporate yourself more into your videos. What do people connect with? Your story, your journey, and how do you express that? Through your voice. So please start incorporating that or capturing consultation videos. People want to see the brand become the focal point and show that you have the technique on exactly how to do it. And make sure your bio is optimized and funneling down to the booking link so that once they come into your ecosystem, start watching your content, they click that link and they actually start booking in. But guys, if you want to learn exactly how to create high converting content and implement 6-figure systems so you can build a 6-figure barbering business in the next 120 days, linked down below is an application form form that you can fill out if you want to join Scalo and join a group of like-minded barberpreneurs scaling upwards of 40K a month. This is an elite group of barbers who want more from their barbering business and understand systems and a systematic approach to actually get them there. So if that all sounds interesting, click that link down below, apply for Scalo, or equally send me a DM on Instagram saying 500. I'll be more than happy to send you the information. If you fit the criteria, me and you can jump on a personal brand audit call where we can break down exactly where your brand is going wrong and the steps need to be taken to get you to 6 figures a year. But guys, remember, content is the biggest return on investment in 2026. And if you're not using it as your advantage as a barber, you will be left behind. But now, with that being said, watch this next video here and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.